Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm David Rooney, publisher of Revelstoke Current, and welcome to In Conversation, my periodic discussion of politics, usually, and this time, not politics. This evening, I'll be talking with Lyn and Denny Kaulback about theatre in Revelstoke. Lyn and Denny have been pillars of the theatrical establishment here in town, and sadly, they are leaving us next month. So, no further ado, we'll have a chat. Thank you. So you're leaving us next month, early June.
Yes, we are.
Where are you going?
We are moving to Oliver.
Oliver? What's in Oliver?
No snow.
The desert. I've always wanted.
I get that completely,
yeah.
Especially the desert part.
Yeah.
You know, it's really part of the North Sonoran Desert, eh?
Yes.
It's from Mexico all the way up through the States into here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward. There's a desert interpretation center that I want to visit.
Yeah.
So,
You know,
yes.
that extends into Alberta. I remember running into some strange wildlife down around Milk River once. It was just very strange. You get these, in South America, you get these large, very large velvety ants.
Oh yeah.
And they have the most wicked bite.
Mm.
And yeah, I was told, oh, they find them here too. They're in the North Sonoran Desert. Oh, thank you.
Why am I in the North Sonoran?
Yeah. Oh, you'll have a wonderful time.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, good.
We've already made contact with the theatre group down there. They're looking
so
forward
that was going to be my
to
next question.
Yeah, we're looking forward to working with them. They actually have an AGM next month, which we will miss, but we're on their email list and we'll be getting together with them once we get settled.
I'd like to be a fly on the wall at that AGM meeting, see what they have to say about you.
Well, they
what
don't.
Their plans, what their plans for you are.
Well, the comment was, we're always glad to get more directors, so I'm sure we'll find something to be part of.
Yeah, plus, you know, we can do acting or building or all sorts of stuff.
Decoring. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine you guys without theatre.
That was one of the criteria when we were looking for where we wanted to retire to. The criteria was wine grapes, #1, and theatre, #2.
Well,
So,
sometimes it changed.
yeah, back and forth. So, yeah.
How long have you both been involved in theatre here in Revelstoke?
I moved here in 1978 in July, and I got involved in theatre in September of 1978.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's 39 years.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
You're not that old, David.
But you look in the mirror and you see this wide-eyed 25-year-old.
No, I see my mother. I look in the mirror and I see my mother.
How did that person sneak in?
Yeah, what's she doing here?
How about you, Denny? How long have you been involved in theatre here?
Gee, I guess it would have been after I got together with Lenny. I used to go to shows lots, but after I got involved with her, so that would probably been early 90s. Yeah. Yeah. So I did building, you know, built a few sets, and then really sort of wanted to explore the acting side, so I got a lead, first play, so that was pretty good, you know.
And then he thought it'd be more fun to be the boss, so he became a director.
Well, you know, it's all, I've always been a manager, so I mean, being a director is just like, well, you know, it's interesting because you're dealing with people who are volunteers, you know, and you have a vision of where you want them to go to, and all you have to do is talk them into believing in the vision and going with you, you know. It's like, once you get onto that, it's a lot of fun, you know, and seeing what you can create. You know, some moments like you create about 3 or 4 minutes of a play, and it's really good, and you go, oh crap, that was a smoker, you know. And it changes because it's organic as it works toward opening night, and you try and reignite that moment you had all the time, you know, and try and blend them all in. And boy, you know, I mean, you create a world that people can walk into and look at and say, you know, for 45 minutes at a time and say, oh yeah, I can buy into this, you know. And the rest of the world goes, it's gone. You know, I mean, it's just such a wonderful thing to be able to do that and see the people who come to share your vision and watch it and go and say, yeah, I like that, you know, I can ID with that. Of course, some of the shows we put on weren't really likable, but, you know.
Yeah, but they were intense and demanding of the audience, and one of the things that Denny's always said is that when you're playing a role, you get to explore parts of your personality that don't exist in you, right? I mean, you can, if you play,
don't, but maybe
or they do, and they're not something you allow yourself to express. But if you're doing it on stage, or you're creating, you know, something like a pedophile, or, you know, a rapist or a murderer, and you get up there and you do the job, and somebody pats you on the back and says, "Hey, you're a great murderer."
But, you know, it gets you, it's like living vicariously, you know, you can be a murderer without having to murder somebody, which is kind of a good thing.
Well, I think all humans are potential killers.
Well, I think, you know, defending your young or your territory or saving your own life, yeah, we have that potential in us.
I've met some murderers of being. We should talk about it sometime. Yeah, there's a reason why I say things like that. Yeah, but you've seen the theater grow over a really broad period of time. How has it really changed? What's different about theater today as opposed to when you started?
You mean just for Revelstoke or theater in general? In Revelstoke? Well, I think any volunteer organization that you're part of has ebbs and flows. You know, sometimes it's more intense, or there's, I know in the 80s when there were more people in town, we had a larger population, and there was quite a group of people that were involved in theater, but they all moved away. So then there's the small core that's left. So it's an ebbing and flowing, and if you have a lot of people, you can do a lot more productions. When we as a group got into doing the musicals at the high school, our population, or the involvement of people in the community, was bigger than when we're not doing a community musical, because there's not as many people involved. So it's an ebbing and flowing thing, and I think there was a big turning point when we got the use of Mount Mackenzie from the city and had our own place to work from. We had a place to build sets, we had a place to rehearse, we had a place for costumes, and because we had that as a background behind us, that's kind of when we grew ourselves into participating in Theatre BC, and then gained a lot of knowledge and experience and some professional input, and became better at our craft. Started winning awards and, you know, the whole zone process and going to main stage, and so I mean that's been a really good thing. Since we've lost Mount Mackenzie, then we've been fighting a little bit more for a place to perform. It's good at the new Performing Arts Center if we have a big enough production, but if we don't have a big production with a lot of people in the cast, it's a little too expensive for us to mount.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, you know, a traditional story for all small groups that have to fight for the big bucks to get on stage.
Yeah, it's changed a lot of ways too with what everybody's using for scripts now. It used to be a lot of the older scripts.
Yes.
And now,
yes.
Now there's a lot of new stuff coming out that you see all the time, Canadian writers. It's changed in that way because it's we're not doing the traditional
British farce.
Well, the British farce and that British flavor in you know, in all theater. You know, now that it's different. You know, they're just, I guess, you know, it's because of the internet, and there's just so many more people writing in you know, communications everywhere. If you want to watch a play, you can probably see it on YouTube, right? Before you even have to read it. And it's just amazing because you get so much more variety to choose from. But then again, you have to run it back to, are you going to get anybody to come to watch it?
That's true, yeah.
You can't get so far out that you can't get anybody to come to watch it. I mean, that's
well, and active participating members of the group, you know, because it's the same few people all the time that do the acting, that do the backstage, that do the promotions, that do, so if you've got a broader base of people, then you can take on more. If you've only got the same 8 or 10 people working on a play,
And your cast is limited.
Yeah, well, and you're drained, right? And then you can't do 3 or 4 productions in a year because we do it because we love it, but it's a very draining kind of experience. And when you're involved in a production, it takes a lot of time. You might not then take on another production for 3 or 6 months, but for that time you're working on a play, you are intensely involved for 2 months.
Do we often get homegrown plays? I can think of at least 2 that have been done here since I've been here. That's over 17 years.
Wouldn't call it often, but
not often.
If the opportunity comes up, it's really an entertaining thing because a lot of people can tie to it locally. And that's where your audience is, if you can get someone to write something about a local area, happening.
Well, and then we've also, because again of Theatre BC and their playwriting competition that they have every year, we have also done not local Revelstoke plays, but certainly local BC regional plays. So I mean that kind of filters around as well. We've done plays here that were written in Prince George or. It's really a small circle when you get involved.
Oh, it is, yeah. I know how small that circle could be.
Yeah.
The true addicts.
Yeah.
Which is why we were looking for a new theatre group when we were looking for a new place to retire to.
How large is that theatre group down in Oliver?
Membership, I don't know. We have been down to see 2 of their productions at different times when we were down looking, and they also perform. They tour. They do performances in Oliver and then performances in the Soyuz as well. So the membership is from both towns. They make up the South Okanagan amateur players is what they call themselves.
So what kind of population do they have to draw?
Oliver has 4,500 roughly, and a Soyuz is
just over 5,000 now.
I thought it was
but
up
there's
to
a
6.
lot of people living in
there's about 9,000 people.
Yeah, I'd say probably more in the area than are in either town. And it's a pretty farm dense area. There's
other communities around too that probably people.
Yeah, so it's and it's the Okanagan.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to retire there, David.
I keep telling myself I'll never retire anywhere but here, but we'll see. Now, when you went to those plays in Oliver, did you compare? Did you do a comparison with what you experienced in Revelstoke?
Denny and I tend to come out and say, well, if I had been the director, I would have done such and such and so and so. We do that whether we're here or in Toronto watching professional theatre or, in Oliver watching their group. So, it's kind of a common failing of people. Or if I'm in a stage where I'm acting, I have the same thing about the performance of the lead actress or the supporting actor. I would have done la la la.
Or didn't you think that blocking was awkward?
Yeah. We do. We're guilty.
Guilty as charged.
Oh well, you guys are going to be missed, really missed here.
Well, we're thinking about friends and missing friends, but it's such a small world anymore. I mean, people are only a phone call or a text away.
Yeah.
And we can drive up for performances, or people can drive if we start performing down there. It's exciting, David. It's something brand new and different. So we're excited.
Well, you deserve to be. Yeah, and the desert.
And the desert, my friend. And
Can't
the
go
desert.
wrong with the desert.
And a peach tree.
Unless you fall into a pit full of rattlesnakes.
No,
Well, I guess that's part of the song, isn't it? Maybe fall into a pit full of rattlesnakes.
I don't remember that song. That must be from your youth.
If you had anything you wanted to say to people here about theatre and about, I can see your love of theatre and what it means, feel free.
If I had a message for members of the theatre company now, the people that I know that are still here, it's don't give up. You go through rough patches, you go through a period where you haven't been able to do some shows, but the next one you try for is going to go. And because we do it for the creativity, for the spark, and for the love of the final production. Just keep at it.
Yeah, and I would say for anybody who actually thinks about going into theater, do it, because it opens up a whole other side of your brain that you don't use otherwise, and takes you back into thinking about when you were a kid, and you could imagine you could do things really easily when you were a kid because you didn't have the constraints of the world on you. And this is what happens when you act, as you go back into being a kid. You get rid of all these constraints that are with you, and you portray another person. You know, I mean, it could be a really good person, it could be an evil person. It doesn't matter, you know, there's no end result. It doesn't cost you anything, so you can get out there and be whoever you want to be. And it's a good training, you know, it's a really good training for kids, because they start to understand it's easy to talk to people, you know. I mean, doesn't it worry you, kids sitting there like this all the time, texting, 3 or 4 of them, not a word being said? Huh?
Makes me crazy.
Yeah,
Drives me crazy, you know, I mean.
Talk to me.
Go out and engage yourself in theater where the spoken word and the action is the whole communication, not letters on a screen. Dinosaurs.
Yeah. Oops.
Oh, well. You know, we had the best of years, Dave, when we were growing up and when we lived, you know?
Yeah.
It was the best. Kids will never see that now. But, hey, they'll see something else, so.
Which we will find fault with because we're old fogies now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
our grandparents found fault with us, right?
Yeah.
Well.
You're doing what?
Well, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to talk to you about theater.
Oh, this was great fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, time for light. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this. I hope you'll be back to watch my next In Conversation, which will be whenever. Thank you.